Hi there, this is Nick, and I want to tell you the story of the most famous business book in the world, and why this particular book is the most read book by successful business people in countries literally all over the world. The story begins in New York in 1908. A young journalist by the name of Napoleon Hill had the opportunity to interview the richest man in the world at that time, a gentleman by the name of Andrew Carnegie from US Steel fame. Now, the interview did not go as planned. Napoleon made great progress in the first half of the interview, but Andrew halted the interview halfway through and challenged Napoleon Hill. He said he'd like to offer him an unpaid job that would take 20 years to complete, which is kind of an interesting way to make a job offer. After explaining the nature of the job, Napoleon accepted on the spot. And here's what happened. Carnegie challenged the young Napoleon Hill to spend the next 20 years of his life uncovering the common success principles of the most successful business people on the planet. Of course, being the richest man in the world, Andrew Carnegie knew all of them, and he offered to open any door. Hill, of course, would have to do the research. And as I mentioned, to sweeten the deal, Carnegie, being a canny Scot of origin, offered to pay Napoleon Hill absolutely nothing for his efforts. His only reward would come from the doing of the task itself. So from that very strange start, Hill began interviewing names we still know to this day. You can see some of them on the screen there in front of you. Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, John D. Rockefeller, George Eastman of Eastman Kodak fame, Charles Schwab, F.W. Woolworth. And in 1928, 20 years later, as it turned out exactly, Napoleon Hill published the results of his research. When he published it, it came out in 8 volumes and incorporated over 1,500 pages. I actually have that original work, not the original publication, but that 1,500-page volume, and it is a lot of content. Years later, based on the demand he was getting in the marketplace, he condensed the original research into a simpler and far more practical format, so a small book that's become known as the classic book, Think and Grow Rich. This book gives you the opportunity to understand the mindset of some of literally the greatest business builders on the planet. It is a genuine treasure trove of business growth nuggets. The reason I mention this book is for one reason. Successful business people think differently. If you want to think like a successful business person, you first have to know how do they think. This is the book that everyone agrees does the best job of revealing how successful business people think. You'll see on the screen in front of you 2 images from Amazon UK and Amazon US. And if you look carefully, you'll notice the book has garnered nearly 1,000 reviews with an average of 4.5 stars. And that's just 2 sites, the UK and the US. So the evidence would strongly suggest this is a book worth reading and studying, particularly if you're serious about business and business growth and sales and marketing. I first read this book based on a recommendation I got from a mentor I had at the time, probably over 30 years ago now, and I've reread it and re-listened to it on audio multiple times since. Of course, the writing style is very much of the era it was written in, and naturally the references used in the book are from the period it was also written in. So you've got to bear in mind when you're reading this, the style is going to be over 100 years old, so it's not a modern style. But the ideas and the source material, they're as relevant today as they were 100 years ago. The Think and Grow Rich book will have a profound impact on you if you really understand the value you're getting. I believe in the content so much that I actually organised to get a license for the original material. Then I paid to have a recording done of every chapter. Then I had somebody on my team create a 1-page summary of all the key points from each chapter. So in the downloads area below the video you're watching, you'll be able to get access to an MP3 file and a 1-page summary for each chapter in the book. So you'll see a link below the video. The reason I did that was so that you could listen to the audios while driving around in your car, and then you could use the 1-page summary to review the core material when you get back to your office. So this, of course, is not part of the core Profitology program. It's bonus material that I wanted to include for you. But literally, do yourself a favor, load it onto your playlist into your MP3 device, print out the 1-page summaries, and make a mental note to yourself to review the content on a reasonably regular basis. It takes a few listenings, so I've listened to it dozens of times over the years. Okay, that's what we've got for you. It's a little bonus for you for being a Profitology member. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you in the members area shortly.